This river right here, it means a lot to me because I defeated death here. I was about 7, 8. You know, I was young, swimming underwater. Everybody swim underwater. My eyes was closing. Not knowing that river has a constant flow. I was swimming in the wrong direction. I was swimming to where the flow was going the opposite way of what my family was. And by the time I came back up, I was too far away from them. And they didn't even notice I was gone. And I kept going under, kept going under. And how I got saved, I saw this image of a well. It was in spiritual form, but an image of a well. And I can remember the tail hitting me up and putting me back where my family was. I know it's hard to believe because you think about a well in the river hitting you up, but it was in, you know, they say angels come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. And definitely saved me. The famous Black Warrior River is known to be named after Chief Tuskalusa, which Tuskaloosa means Black Warrior. And they said Chief Tuskalusa was tall, dark-skinned, between 6'5" to 7 feet tall. He was a warrior. He was a resemblance of myself. Yeah, ultimate warrior. Until one day the Spanish came along and they got him out of there, you know. Everyone has an expiration date. It's just all about what we do in that time. Way in the water. Way in the water, children.
So today we're going to be talking about Black Indian chiefs in the Americas. All right, so this first book we're reading in, this is called All the Year Round, Winter, all right, by Francis Lucius Strong. Okay, now watch what it says. It says, Black Hawk is the name of a little Indian boy who lives in the far west. Many years ago, when Columbus came to America, the Indians owned all of this beautiful country, but the white people have driven them farther and farther west. It says Black Hawk's father is an Indian chief and a brave warrior. It says the little boy has long, straight black hair and a dark reddish brown skin. Y'all see that? Dark reddish brown skin, which you're really just describing the so-called African Americans. That's who you're describing, but in order to throw y'all off, they have to use dark reddish brown skin instead of just saying these are so-called black people. Because when you start seeing dark reddish brown, your mind start wandering somewhere else. When they're talking about you, this is how they throw you off and keep you confused about who you are. This is from a book called A History of the Black Church in Tuskaloosa. All right. It says the city of Tuskaloosa, Tuskaloosa County, and the Black Warrior River runs through the city of Tuskaloosa. All take their name from the Choctaw Indian chief Tuskalusa. Tashka meaning warrior, Lusa meaning black, which was translated as Tuskaloosa and later Tuskaloosa. It says, according to historical accounts, Chief Tuskalusa was a very wise and respected leader and was of impressive physical stature, standing nearly 7 feet tall. He encountered Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto. That's what I wanted to point out. He encountered Hernando de Soto. And we know every time Hernando de Soto described the American Indians, what were they described as? Black people. Even Chief Tuskalusa, the name even tells you itself, the Black Warrior. He was a black man. He was a so-called black man. And it says he encountered Hernando de Soto. Let's go get an account of Hernando de Soto, and we're going to see what he described the Indians as. All right, this book is called The History of Hernando de Soto and Florida, or Record of Events from 1512 to 1568. Watch what these Carolina Indians are described as. You guys heard this before. It says they go entirely naked, except that about the loins, they wear skins of small animals like martens fastened by a girdle of plaited grass, to which they tie all around the body of the tails of other animals, hanging down to the knees, and all other parts of the body and head are naked. It says some wear garlands similar to birds' feathers. The complexion of these people is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Okay, so it said these people were black. Now watch this as we go down on the next page to what it's going to say about the same people. It says, our sailors in the boat seen a great fire made up, and their companion placed very near it, full of fear, and as usual in all cases of novelty, imagine that the natives were about to roast him for food. But as soon as he had recovered his strength after a short stay with them, showing by signs that he wished to return aboard, they hugged him with great affection and accompanied him to the shore. Then leaving him that he might feel more secure, they withdrew to a little hill from which they watched him until he was safe in the boat. This young man remarked that these people were black like the others. You see that? Black like the others. So all the other people that were being described as black, these Indians were being described as black as well. So why is it always a problem when we bring this history out? To me, it's almost as if you pay attention, it's almost as if everybody knows this, but they want us to just be quiet about it. They don't want us to talk about it. Don't say anything about what these Indians look like. And if you do, you're trying to blackwash, or it's an Afrocentric narrative. It's not. We're reading the history. This is from the book called The History of Hernando de Soto. They're writing this in the book that was written hundreds of years ago before any of us was even born. So how are we blackwashing anything? We're just reading the history, but y'all don't like what it says. See, this is the history that gets covered up and hidden and omitted from the real history. So now when we bring this stuff out, again, this is like telling you your father is not really your father. You're going to kick against it because it's information you've never heard before. And it's the same thing with anything else. This is going back to Chief Tuskaloosa now. The Battle of Mabila in October 1540, while journeying through present-day Alabama, De Soto and company encountered and initially befriended Chief Tuskalusa or Tuskalusa, apparently with the design of capturing him. So they tried to capture him because they wanted to put him in slavery, him and the tribe. All right. It says the plan failed. However, because the chief was not fooled and discreetly summoned numerous Indian warriors in the region to concentrate for an attack on the Spaniards at Mabila, an Indian town in present-day Clark, Alabama, about 25 miles north of the confluence of Alabama and Tobigi rivers. It says the Spaniards eventually prevailed and then burned the town, but the victory proved costly. More than 2,500 Indians and nearly 100 Spaniards died, and hundreds more were wounded, including De Soto himself. It says the battle, it is likely that Tuskaloosa ruled over a chiefdom that will later be called the Mobile tribe. Spanish chroniclers describe the Indian chief as a gigantic black man. You see that? Okay, this is a PDF called Tuskaloosa and the Origin of Its Name. Okay, watch this. It says at Tallahassee, which was the southern boundary of Coosa, De Soto was met by an ambassador from the Cacique of the neighboring province called Tuskaloosa. This is a pure Choctaw compound word, according to Meek, from the Tuska, warrior, and Lusa, or Lusa, black, which would, of course, be warrior black, but by inversion into English, black warrior. You see that? The black warrior. Did I make that up? No, all of this stuff that you can download, all of this stuff. And I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna put this PDF on my website so you guys can download this and read it yourself. Now, this book is called The Horse and Blackfoot Indian Culture. This is another Indian chief named White Quiver. Watch this. It says White Quiver vowed vengeance against that tribe, referring to the Crow Indians, because the Crow Indians and the Piegan Indians, these Blackfoot Indians, they always had smoke for each other. So the Blackfoot and the Crow was always beefing. All right. It says in later years, he led many raids on their horse herds. White Quivers started going on war parties while still a boy. He grew to be a tall, strong man of remarkable physical stamina who could ride 3 days and nights without food while driving captured horses homeward from an enemy camp. Rats at the Door, who went on 8 horse raids under White Quiver leadership, remembered him as a generous, easygoing, fun-loving man. He described White Quiver's appearance as tall, very dark, and ugly. The Crow Indians who suffered most from his thievery dubbed him the Big Negro. Did I write that? Did I write that? No, I did not. Okay? That's in the book. The book written by John Ewers. He wrote this. I didn't write it. This book was written before any one of us was even born. My grandmother wasn't even born when this book was written. So don't come talking about y'all blackwashing history. That's what the book say. It says Crow mothers are said to have disciplined their crying children by saying, "Keep quiet, the big Negro is out there." So they would scare their children to be quiet, saying the big Negro is out there, referring to Chief White Quiver. So did I make that up? Absolutely not. Y'all just mad because we bringing this stuff out. Now, as y'all can see, this is from newspapers.com. This is of a woman named Rainbow Sisteso. Okay, now y'all have seen this picture before. I don't know about this, but y'all seen pictures of her that y'all post all around the internet. This woman was the granddaughter of Chief Yellow Cloud, Sioux Indian girl and granddaughter of Chief Yellow Cloud. You see that? And I want y'all to see this good so y'all can see her face. Indian Chief's daughter. This is the same woman y'all been posting. Most people had no idea this was the same woman. Her name is Rainbow Sisteso. She is a Sioux Indian. We're not making this history up. So y'all need to go get y'all fact checkers and fact check the work and stop hating.